And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. When I turn on the news, all I hear is, I'm offended. I'm offended by this. This group's offended by this group. This group's offended by this group. You know, back when I was growing up in the early 1980s, there was a real popular country music song. And I don't remember who sang the song or even the name of the song. I just remember the chorus said, hey, won't you play somebody done somebody wrong song? People, we need to make that the national anthem. That needs to be our national anthem. Because that's all you hear is, oh, I'm offended by what this group does. I'm offended by that. We just need to do away with the Star Spangled Banner and make that our national anthem. Because we are now the United States to be offended. And you know what offended is? This isn't part of my sermon notes, but you know what offended really is? It's your pride. It's your pride saying, I'm too good for this. I don't deserve this. I deserve better. It's your pride. Being offended, or even to some extent, sometimes anger, is really just your pride bubbling up inside you. So when you see this group being offended by this and being offended by that, it's their pride. Then we get into verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Boy, in number 11, are we not seeing that every day? I mean, I'll mention the 700 Club, but there's some preachers that I see on television. I'm not going to call names because I'm not really into that, although I have done it on Facebook. Joel Osteen. But when I see some of these preachers on television, you know what they remind me of? I'm not being joking, I'm being serious. They remind me of game show hosts. I'm serious. It's like, if you'll give to my ministry, you know, when I can almost hear Bob Barker's voice going, a brand new car. Yeah, we've all seen it. We've all seen it. And that's what they remind me of, is game show hosts. Beware of these false teachers. Christ is telling you up here in verse 9, that you're going to see sufferings. They may actually try to kill you. And we've got people out here, God wants you to have a Mercedes-Benz. He wants you to be in charge of your company. He wants to make you rich. Well, that's not what Jesus said in verse 9. Now, God does want to bless you. He wants to give you nice things. But that's not your purpose. It has never been your purpose, never will be your purpose. So these false prophets, you know what they're really doing? They're telling people what they want to hear. So we're seeing all these things come back. We haven't seen one verse that we're not seeing come to pass yet when we study Matthew 24. Then we go into verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Wax cold means going nowhere. It's not moving. I'll put here in my notes here, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2 puts it this way. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful and unholy. Would you not say in today's world, when you see all these seminars on TV, get rich quick, people saying, I got this real estate, come to my seminar, we'll make you rich. Lovers of self, lovers of greed. And those people are successful because that stuff sells. Verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. That means don't just be discouraged. Don't lose your focus. Put up one hand and say, this is my problems. But the other hand, this problem represents Jesus. Put your Jesus hand in front of the other hand, you can't see it anymore. Don't lose your focus. Don't lose your faith. Don't focus on your problems. Because we have a name that's greater than every problem in the world. Going to verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come. Verse 15. When ye therefore shall see abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, and stand in the holy place, That's referring to where the Antichrist is going to stand in the Holy of Holies and proclaim himself to be the Son of God. We're not going to see that if we're born again Christians, because we're going to be raptured out of this world. We're not going to see that. Verse 16. Let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. He's talking about when you see the abominations. In other words, if you're one of the people that's left behind, which, like I said, really doesn't pertain to the church, but there will be people that get left behind that they're going to realize, this is really talking to them at this point, saying, you need to flee. I'm actually going to skip a few verses. A lot of this, the next few verses, really do have to do with the Great Tribulation. Like I said, as Christians, we won't be there. We'll skip down to verse 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall the last trump, or so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. 1 Corinthians 15:52 says it this way: in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, so we shall be changed. What does it mean that we shall be changed? It means we're going to leave. We're going to experience the first death. There's two deaths. Two deaths. The word death, in a biblical sense, really means separation. When I say we're all going to experience the first death, we're going to experience separation from this body into our soul body. I'll get to the second death in just a few moments. It's coming in just a few moments. It's not a good thing. We get to verse 30. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the cloud of heavens with power and great glory. This is reflected to us again in Revelation 1, verse 7, where it says, he shall come with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So when we see these things happen, when we see the suffering in the world, it's confirmation, folks. It's confirmation. Don't rejoice that people are having troubles, but rejoice because you know that our Lord is coming back. Yeah. He gave us His word. He gave us. That's what this whole chapter is about. When you see these things, that's what the disciples asked Him. That's what they're asking here. They're saying, Lord, was it verse 2 or verse 3? I have to go back and look. They're saying, Lord, what are the signs of your coming? He goes through this list. We are seeing these things happening today. This isn't news. When we see these people protesting and people killing people all over the place, wars, rumors of wars. When we see this stuff happening on the news, this isn't news to us. We already knew it was coming. Those of us that read know the Word of God knew this was coming. This isn't news to us. We knew it was coming. We have confirmation. When we watch the news, we're not getting news, we're getting confirmation. This is confirmation that my Lord is coming back. Yeah. And we're going to go to glory with Him when He comes back. That trumpet that He's talking about is about to sound. Those clouds are about to part. Yeah. Our Lord is coming back, folks. Yeah. That gives us something to rejoice about.